All right, horror hounds, and welcome to an episode of This Just In. Today we're going to be going over Halloween Resurrection. After Halloween H2O was a huge success, they decided they needed to make another one. But how? We cut off Michael's head. Guess we're going to be getting to that. All right, so this one actually is way different than any one that they've made up to this point. Way different. And we'll get into some of that stuff. We're going to start with the ins. My first in is going to be Michael Myers. I think the mask still looks pretty decent in this one, and I do think the guy who plays Michael Myers does a good job playing Michael Myers. I like the way he walks, stalks, the things you expect to have from Michael Myers in this movie. I think he does very well. And then my only other in this movie is going to be on-screen kills, which is what I'm going to call that, because the kills you see on screen are done well. You get the cameraman who gets the tripod, which has a magical spike in the bottom. I don't know why, they're on hardwood floors, but anyways, right through his throat. That's a good kill. You got the guy from the American Pie movies. He gets a blade right to the top of his head. Love that kill. The girl down in the basement, she gets that spike through her back. I always thought that was a pretty good kill. And the one girl, she gets decapitated with one slice of a kitchen blade, so Mikey been sharpening that knife. And that's about it. That's all my that's all the things I'm in this movie. Mixed. First is the characters. I think that some of them are portrayed well. Some of them don't really have a whole lot. Like the guy from American Pie is just a pervert. Always trying to get with the lady. And our main girl that we follow, she doesn't have much of a backstory. She does try to get out of the situation before it even starts, but then gets convinced in 2 seconds to stick it out. Busta Rhymes is in this. We're going to get to him. Tyra Banks is in this. Yep, she doesn't have many scenes, but we're also going to get to her one scene. And other than that, they have like a friend who, he's a cook. He dies in the kitchen. Whoa! We have a couple who have sex, so they die. Your typical stuff. That's why it's mixed. Some of them are good, some of them are shit. And then the other thing I'm mixed on is the plot / setting of this movie. So this one is actually a reality web-based show. So Busta Rhymes runs a company. They're going to be doing a reality show where all these contestants get together, and they have to spend 24 hours inside the Myers house. And they do some, got like webcams on the side of their head so that you can see what they see if you're watching from the internet, which is fun. It's a fun idea, and some of the kills could be really fun that way. But this is also 2002 when cameras had just kind of started coming out for this stuff, so a lot of it is pretty shitty looking. That's why it's mixed. I don't think it's the worst idea when they've been drawing up so much stuff, but it doesn't always turn out that good when you're watching the film. That's why I give it mixed. You tried something different. I mean, you're 7 movies in. You tried. It didn't quite land all times, but it does have its fun parts. All right, and that's all the things that I'm mixed on. Now we're going to go to the outs, which is the very beginning of this movie. In the very beginning of this movie, they retcon every single thing that happened at the end of H2O. Yep. So Jamie Lee Curtis, when she had signed on to the role, they had shot during H2O the scene showing that Michael came alive, ripped the throat out of a paramedic, or crushed his larynx, something of that sort, put his own mask then on this paramedic, and that paramedic is the one in the vehicle. So when he's reaching out, The reason why he's reaching out is because he can't speak, and he's trying to get her to help him. And she cuts off his head thinking he's Michael Myers. So the last movie had an amazing ending, and this movie just completely ruins it. Halloween 5 territory. Let's just take what was good and just shit all over it. Thanks for that. And then we find that Laurie Strode is actually in an insane asylum-ish type situation now because she murdered a man. An innocent man. Okay. And in the first 10 minutes of the movie, Michael shows up. It's been 3 years, so there's been some time to pass after, first it was 20 years he waited, and then now it was only 3, so he at least picked up the pace. But he ends up going after her. She's on the roof at some point. Somehow there's a crane on the roof. Okay. Not sure why there would be a crane up there. But she sets up a booby trap. Somehow, some way. She gets him trapped. They wind up... the rope breaks when she's trying to unmask him because she needs to make sure this is really Michael this time. A little PTSD from killing that last man. Rope breaks. He grabs her. They fall off the roof while kind of hanging there. And in that process, he stabs her in the back with a knife. She gives him a kiss, and then she falls to her death. And that's how Laurie Strode dies in this timeline.
I'll see you in hell.
Yes. She gets stabbed in the back, smooches her brother, and falls. Okay. Thank you for that. Alright, so my next out is pretty much everything to do with Busta Rhymes. He watches Kung Fu in this movie just so that he can use Kung Fu in this movie. That's right, we get Busta Rhymes using Kung Fu on Michael Myers.
What you got?
And we get some great dialogue from Busta Rhymes. I know he says, "Trick or treat, motherfucker." And when he kicks him and he's all stuck in these wires while the barn is on fire, he tells him Happy Halloween. Michael Myers gets beaten up by Busta Rhymes, who's doing karate.
Fucker.
Bet you didn't think you'd ever see that in a Halloween movie. That almost shits on Michael Myers himself, which I consider to be an in, except for the fact he gets beaten up by Busta Rhymes using karate. Another one of my outs is off-screen kills. Tyra Banks is just magically in the roof, dead. We see her 1 minute, and we don't really go near her again, then she just shows up. Dead. So, you spent all that money paying her to be in this movie because I'm pretty sure she wasn't cheap. And she gets an off-screen kill. And I hate off-screen kills. And can't just say it enough. Hate off-screen kills. And then as a magical point, also as an out for me in this movie, is Decker / Miles. So there's this character who talks to our final girl as she thinks his name is Decker. And she thinks he's already graduated. He's this great guy. And he's actually a freshman in high school. His name is Miles. So he's catfishing her. So let's give them props there because they were at least pretty on the forefront when it comes to people catfishing other people. But he thinks they're in a relationship. But they've never met each other. And they do talk on there. So I guess if that's what you consider a relationship, okay. Eventually she's going to find out that you're, freshman in school. What are we going to do? And he kind of walks her through at one point because he's watching this while he's at a Halloween party with his friends, and they're critiquing the kills, whether or not they're real or not. And they get to the point where he finds out that Michael is really there. So he's then sending her text messages from watching the camera video feeds to tell her how to survive. And she does make it through because of him. I feel like that we didn't need to have that, but since they had technology in this movie, they just wanted to push something in there to give it a little bit more flush out with that technology. So then my very, very, very last out in this movie is they set up this house that they're all staying at to find clues with a bunch of fake bullshit booby traps, which they show that in the movie, that these people find out that it's all staged. And even Busta Rhymes dresses up as Michael Myers. He actually dresses up as Michael Myers, runs into actual Michael Myers, yells at him because there's two of them and he needs to get out of here, and Michael turns and walks away.
That's what I did. You need to get the hell out of here. Go!
Michael Myers, who just runs through people, killing them left and right, walks away when somebody gets in his face and yells. Yeah. So, my overall thoughts on this movie. This movie is a terrible movie for a Halloween movie. It'd be terrible for any kind of movie. The kills are decent and Michael's okay. I like him in this movie for the most part, but they do things that kind of drag his character down. Busta Rhymes is just a waste of space in this movie, if you ask me. I don't know how they greenlit for him to do karate and beat up Michael Myers and say all those cheesy-ass stupid lines that he does, but it happened. And the webcam show, it's not the worst idea in the world. They don't execute it well at all. There are some scenes that could be way better with a webcam setup type thing. But it was 2002, so maybe that was the issue. My overall rating on this movie, I'm going to give this one a 1.75. I don't find this one to be as terrible as Part 5. But it's down in the bottom because it fucks with the last movie. It takes that awesome ending in H2O and just poos all over it. And at this point in time, I've seen so many bad Halloween movies in this franchise. This one they kind of just mesh together at this point. Alright, so don't forget to give me a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you can tell when the next video comes out. Next one is going to be Rob Zombie's Halloween remake. We're going to see how we do if we go back to remaking the original. Till the next one, guys, rest in peace.